Okay, thank you, Raymond, for a nice introduction. My name is Tsukasa Ryu, and today I'm going to talk about immunology and fish, how it's related. However, I need to make this clear. Today, I'm not going that deep into the immunology itself, or I'm not going to talk about COVID, because we're all sick of it. Okay, but today, my presentation is all about fish immunology. So please keep that in mind, and please imagine how it's different from your image of immunology versus fish immunology. Okay. So let me quickly introduce about myself. I'm Tsukasa, and I'm a PhD student at Kyushu University, about to turn D3, so I have to finish up my paper, I have to submit, and I have to get it accepted in order to graduate. So I'm not sure how long I will stay in Kyushu University. And my research topic is fish immunology. And from first grade to 12 years in high school, I was in Fukuoka International School, right there in Momochi. I studied in English. And I took International Baccalaureate. So yeah, all of my academic career was in English, actually. And my hobby is fishing, making aquarium, and I'm a sponsored yo-yo performer. Yeah, and but I'm not going to very deep about this yo-yoing career. Maybe we can talk about this next time. Oh, but I've got my yo-yo today, so you can always ask me. And I was born in the city of Pueblo, which is Colorado. And if you know where Colorado is, it's right here, right in the middle of the United States, which means there's no ocean. So today, I'm going to talk about how this boy started to like fish and became a fish immunologist as my professional career. So when we talk about ocean, we always say 70% of the ocean is unexplored. I'm a bit skeptical about this statistics because we now have a lot better technologies. We know we can kind of estimate and we can kind of guess what's there. But we know that more than 230,000 species exist in ocean. And this is only a number of species that we know at the moment. And there's some, every day or every month, we have another report about new marine species. So our ocean is still filled with a lot of mysteries. And here, I was a bit too lazy. I used ChatGPT to get the statistics. And how I came to like ocean was this starfish. Look at this. It's a starfish. It's called a crown of thorns starfish. But this starfish is actually a predator of corals. So this one eats coral reefs. And that's why many people don't like this. And it's also poisonous. So this is really dangerous species. But look, just by looking at this is just like so mysterious, you know. It's like a fictional creature on Mars or something. But if you imagine our ocean, you can imagine a lot of weird creatures, right? You know a lot of weird creatures in the ocean, and how they came to life and how they became into different species and how they survive up to now is still a mystery. So this will bring us to another key term, which is biodiversity. Or if you're in a fishery science, or maybe if you're in some kind of production, you will say it's a bioresource. So when you talk about biodiversity or bioresource, you have to keep in mind that there's lots of diversity within ocean or within nature. So not a single species can form a biodiversity, and it's all connected to each other. So they have very intricate relationships between each species. So when you have these different organisms, different animals in nature, my question is, what are their superpowers that help them survive? Because we're all different. Animals are different. We even have different shape, we have different food, and we all somehow survive in this world. So we all must have our own superpowers that help us survive. And now I'm going to talk about immunity. So one way to survive in this world is to have very strong immunity. But now I'd like to start a movie. Hope this will play. Maybe not. Okay, let me go to YouTube just real quick. So, look at this. So, this black thing right here is a bacteria, and this is an immune cell called neutrophil. So, this is actually a neutrophil chasing bacteria. And neutrophil is not the only immune cells in your body. So there's a lot of cells related to immunity. And very interesting thing is that they actually recognize this bacteria as an enemy, and they can chase down to engulf them. So, yeah, so my question is, how can they actually recognize these pathogens, so like these invaders or enemies, and how can they distinguish between how about cells in your body or something good for your body? That's the question of immunity. And when you talk about immunity, you can think of it like this. So yourself and any of the invaders or something that is dangerous for your body or something unnatural is non-self. And those include viruses, bacteria, parasites, and any other foreign materials such as PM 2.5 or any maybe microplastics. Yeah, so you have to repel all these invasions with your own immunity. And that's how you can survive. And that's the only way animals can survive in this world. You have to keep repelling all the invaders out of your body. But actually, when you look closer, you have things like gut microbiota, which is a good microorganisms, so bacteria are living in your body, and they are actually beneficial to yourself. So they're protecting you, helping you digest, or sometimes they make barriers that other bacteria cannot enter. So having these things is always good for your body. But what does it mean? So that means they have this non-self in your body as well. But why don't our body recognize and attack against these bacteria? That's our big question about immunity. So this very fuzzy link between self and non-self is the way you can put immunity in a general idea. So now I'm going to talk about fish immunity, and every time I talk about fish immunology, the very first question is, why fish immunology? Why don't you study immunity, and why don't you study about medicine? They will say you can earn much money you can earn better money if you study for human. Why for fish? Well, number one, because I like fish. But actually, fish immunology is very important in biology field because you can learn how immune systems evolved. So this is a picture of a phylogenetic tree, which we call like a tree of evolution. So each branch would mean that we evolved in a different path. So fish belongs here, and vertebrates are here. Other vertebrates are here. So mammals are like further down. So mammals are different, and even within the vertebrates, so fish diverged from our course of evolution long time ago. So we always say fish are the living fossils. They tend to have ancient immune systems, and that's why it's our topic of interest. And by learning something new in other immune systems, we can find new target for medicine. This is both for human and fish. So if you develop a medicine for human, it's just a medicine. But if you develop the medicine for fish, then you can use it for aquaculture, for example. Because in aquaculture, a lot of fish is packed in one place. If one fish gets very sick, they will bring another fish sick. And in the end, maybe the owner will have like millions of dollars lost, right? And so like, and lots of fish are dying, so that's a waste of our food resource. So application to aquaculture is one of the most common reason why our fish immunology is important, because that's the common way to get money, like funding for our research. So from fundamental to applied biology, you can get a wide range of knowledge, and that's why fish immunology is very interesting. So let's go more deeper into this phylogenetic tree. So this is very scientific. So some of you might not be familiar to this diagram, but as I said, let's have here as a common ancestor, and when you have a common ancestor, each of these branch will mean the divergence in evolution. So each animals evolved in their own ways, and it's not coming back. So these branches won't merge. So we will have different species. So as you can see, we're mammals here, right here, right? And we have fish over here. And by comparing immune systems across these branches, you can see how each of the immune system, actually like each gene have evolved, right? So by looking at that, we can find something new, something that were lost through evolution, but maybe those lost genes, for example, fish might have it in different forms. So it's like a treasure hunting. And this whole field, including fish immunology, is called comparative immunology. So now I'm moving on to my research. My research topic number one is a role of thrombocyte in immunity. Thrombocyte is this cell which you can find in fish blood, but their role is stopping bleeding. So thrombocytes stops bleeding, and when you're damaged, when the blood veins are damaged, thrombocytes aggregate at the site of damage like this to stop bleeding. And the cells are very small, round and spindle. You really don't have to mind about the shape, but one of the importance is that it's second most abundant cells in the blood.
Sorry, is it okay?
Yeah.
How does this compare to like platelets that are?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I have that slide next. Yeah. Yeah. So Yeah, so many of you know platelets. Platelets are the cell, it's actually a cell fragment. So it's actually a cell fragment. It's not a cell. It's just like a particles that came off from a big cell. And platelets are the, I can't say cells, but it's a fragments that are responsible for stopping this bleeding in mammals. And in lower vertebrates, like reptiles, fish, and even birds, they have thrombocytes, which is a cell. So the key difference here is thrombocytes have nucleus. And because they have nucleus, they have to have their own way to protect themselves against viruses, because viruses can replicate using the nucleus, so their DNA. So recently, we know that thrombocytes are also involved in immunity, and actually platelets as well. So they're not only there for bleeding process, but actually when there's no damage in your body, they're always involved in immunity as well. So recently we know some immune relevant genes that are actually, so like it's like a response of a cell against a pathogen or any invasion. Or phagocytosis. This is a very scientific term of engulfing or like eating up the foreign materials. So they have ability to engulf something foreign, and they can also produce nitric oxide, which is also involved in any like immune-related biological steps, or maybe some other biological steps too. So because we have all of these evidences, we can say that thrombocytes are actually involved in immunity. And I need to find how they actually recognize pathogens, because they're aggregating at the site of damage, so they must be the first line of defense. And what I do for my experiment is take blood from the fish, and I'm really good at that, so yeah. Yeah, people call me Fish Dracula. Yeah, I take blood from a fish, stimulate them, and see what kind of genes that are affected by the stimulation. And because this is not a scientific conference, I can't really show my unpublished data. But so far, we found that they have specific response against certain type of pathogens. And this is an evidence of thrombocytes as an immune cell. And not only that, this research will take us to further research of how each of those genes are affecting other immune-related cells. So how these thrombocytes or platelets, they're connected and interrelated with other response in our body. So until now, we were kind of missing out one side of the immune system. We didn't see their involvement, but because we see that involvement now, we can tell that thrombocytes might be another key player in organisms or animals' immunity. And then I actually do another research for my PhD, so there was some weird process that I got to do 2 thesis in my PhD career. And that is called Beauty is Pain, Relationship Between Immunity and Beauty. Beauty is pain, you know this term? Or do you know おしゃれは我慢 in Japanese? Yeah, beauty is pain, you use this term when you have to sacrifice something in order to gain beauty. Yeah, just like my hair, I'm dyeing this hair, but yeah, actually, I'm torturing my skin. Yeah, so yeah, but I think this is common to fish as well. So there's a hypothesis called immunocompetence handicap hypothesis that when they are trying to show this beauty or breeding colors, they are also sacrificing their immunity, maybe energy-wise or maybe something else. So this fish called rosy bitlings, they have rosy in the name because they change color. They changed into this beautiful color during breeding season. And well, if you see it in your eyes, their fins will turn more pinkish red, although it looks a little bit orange in the image. And this is their breeding colors. But maybe they're balancing their immunity and their colors. So my research question is, what if I stimulate them and put pressure into their immunity, deliberately pressure their immunity so that they might not be able to develop this color. And because color is a phenomenon that you can actually quantify, I use image analysis method to quantify fish color. So if you see, this one is a normal fish, which I didn't pressure them. And this is the test group, which I put immunological pressure on them. And these are the colors that you actually see. So this one is much dim in color, right? And if you plot it in RGB scale, RGB is the color scale, right? So you can put this in a 3D plot, and if you plot each of these pixels within this picture, you will see it like this, and you can see they have reddish color in the healthier fish, while these ones don't have red color over here. So now from this data, it is clear that they have changed colors accordingly to the immunological pressure. And now I'm trying to actually color their tissues to see what are the sources of these differences. And I am still doing this research, but in future, I'm trying to build a fundamental for non-invasive health check of a fish. Because right now, to do a health check of a fish, we have to cut them open. So non-invasive health check of a fish is very kind process, I guess. Yeah, we have to fillet them. And this will bring us to new knowledge in biology and also key for developing aquaculture. So my take-home message, yeah, so is that, oh, and a side story, just recently, because we can't catch too many fish in fishing these days, I started making sushi to cherish each fish. Yeah, so, but then I thought about this. Look at these like colorful sushi, right? This is only possible only if you have this rich biodiversity. So my take-home message is that nature teaches us how to survive, but only if we cherish the biodiversity. But like cherish the biodiversity. People will say how. So I would say just aim for a future with a plate of colorful sushi. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you. Oh, and this is the sushi that I made.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll open the floor for questions without a budget, seeing as how you're hand up.
Yeah, my question is, where did you get your shirt?
Oh yeah, I know. This is I bought this online, and this is a product from Suma Aquarium. I don't know where Suma is actually. I'm bad at geography. Yeah, not my specialty. Yeah, but this is really packed, and I really love this shirt. Yeah. Thank you.
But, okay, I'm not a scientist, so sorry. But you study, like, you apply pressure and then see that they become less colorful. Yeah. Which seems kind of like anything under stress is going to struggle. Yes. It might be interesting to, from my naive point of view, see if being colorful lowers their immune system the other way. Is that something?
Oh yeah. So there's a previous studies about this color, or like this color is actually part of secondary sexual development. So they're part of their characteristics that they develop for mating or like the sexual characters, so male that distinguish male and female. So some of the fish in the previous studies, when they have this kind of developments, they had more parasite in their body. Yeah. So they've done similar research about that, but they didn't actually look at the immunological side of that. So that is what I'm doing in here. Thank you.
My question is like, okay, so how did you specify like which gene does what? Because like we know for human, like we already have tons of sequencing, but for fish, like each species has slightly different genes, and also like they're not as a whole bag, they're not completely the same. So that I think it would require sequencing and a lot of like upstream and downstream checking to specify which gene does what, so that as an informatics researcher, you can, based on that knowledge, to find novel correlation. So my question is like, what is the fundamental, the basis of that? How is each functionality of each gene of a given species of fish is specified?
Okay, thank you for that question. I think that's a very good question, and it's actually a technical question, really technical question in biology. So just for the background, let me say that this fish, their whole genome is sequenced, and we have some other related fish species with their genome, which is like whole DNA information available. So we can actually compare the homologies, which are some of the closely related parts to human gene, and there's like whole field of fish immunology specifying which genes are involved in immunity. So we have some background knowledge about that.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, I got a minor slight question. Is like we often come into these obstacles that we find correlation might be co-occurrence, which might be like exactly, like okay, the DGs and the things that we got might be like co-occurrence. It might not always be correlation. So that it would require us to figure out what is happening upstream, what is happening downstream, and how do you solve the pain.
Yeah. So correlation doesn't always reflect causation. So that's actually, that was a problem in this research. But now I was able to find these key genes that are involved in immune response. And because I'm stimulating with some known stimulant, and this stimulant actually, I can kind of guess which immune system is stressed. So if the downstream of that gene is affected, it is really likely that their immune response is affecting, causing this change.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. I'm sorry. One last question. Okay, I will do that later. I'm sorry.
Anybody else? Good.
So the microbiome, how much goes on fish plays and that impacts the immune response in fish?
Oh, so how microbiome impacts fish immune system? Yeah. We now know that fish microbiome is actually a key factor that actually controls their susceptibility against environmental stress. But this is very complicated because it changes very easily by their feed. Yeah, so we know some of the good bacteria or some of the commensal bacteria. Yeah, something that are not doing anything, that are not stressing fish. But at the same time, we're seeing this like proportions of this microbiome in fish that like when they have this certain proportion, they're more likely to get sick, and they will likely to have pathogens, so like harmful ones growing in the body, and we can we can actually see that by sequencing all of the genes in their microbiome. Did I answer your question? Was that okay? Yeah, okay. Thank you.
How do you go about feeding the fish?
So,
Do you like get a syringe, like pick it up, get a syringe, or
yeah,
it's like a vein or an artery that you need to?
Yeah, so, okay. That's another. So, fish have this lateral line right here, this line over here, and this is called lateral line. And if you eat fish, you sometimes might see that there's a big blood vein going right beneath their bone, right? And I have to take blood with just a normal needle and syringe. So I first have to make them sleep, so anesthetize them, and then with needle and syringe on ice, I have to be like, I have to be really careful. But unlike human, we can't see their blood. We can't see their blood veins, so it's only based on our experience and imagination.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you.